Amazing wisdom.
Entrepreneurs,
business leaders,
Success.
CEOs
Amazing success.
around the world.
This is the Success Nuggets Podcast. Have you ever wondered what you could learn and how inspired you'd be if you asked incredible people from around the world about the patterns that drive progress? Get ready to dive into a world of insights and inspiration. This is the Success Nuggets Podcast with the founder of the Digital Lightbulb and your host, David Abel.
On today's episode of the Success Nuggets, I'm joined by someone who proves that finance isn't just spreadsheets and forecasts, it's about people, purpose, and perspective. Julia Qian is the CFO of Health in Tech, a company shaking up the healthcare industry with bold ideas and heart-led innovation. In this conversation, we explore how empathy drives high-performing teams, while simplicity often arrives at the last minute. And our first jobs? Yes, even fast foods are shaping future CFOs. And of course, Julia shares her golden nugget of success. Let's start the show. Hello, Julia.
Hey, hello, David. Thank you for having me. And, it's my privilege to be here.
Thank you, Julia. Health in Tech is a force for good. How did you first come across Health in Tech, and what made you make the leap to join?
Yeah, that's great questions. My background is very diverse. And when I graduated, I worked for Whirlpool, Johnson & Johnson, General Motors. These are the large manufacturing company, provides different solutions to consumer base. And then the big part is technology make change. That at the time, we have ERP, SAP system, make things faster, simpler, and reduce the cost and make company more profitable. So from that, I was hired by Citigroup and looking at how Citi can improve consumer experience product through the technology. So I joined Singapore. I did a bunch of different business in the city, whether it's mortgage, secure lending, the consumer bank, commercial bank, credit cards, loans business. Then eventually I was relocated to Citi US and joined the global consumer bank. That was a time $40 billion business. Look at the US distribution as well. Look at what the customer will do. And in 2016, I was handpicked to join Citi FinTech, where eventually I look at it, I'm like, wow, banking is about 20 years behind the manufacturing in terms of technology. And we started to joke about it, in 2016, 80% of the transaction, humanly going branch, doing that can be done online or via phone. 10 years ago, nobody would believe you can take just a picture to deposit a check. People think that the money is going to be missed and somewhere there's a problem. But we look at how the technology helps them. We said, you don't need to go to branch. If you want to know your balance, just make a phone call. And here you go. You can take a picture and deposit a check. So technology drastically changed the human behavior and also improved Citi's profitability. Then we look at, after the study, what is next sectors where is almost near no innovation, very complex, and a lot of people do that day to day. That's insurance. So insurance, that is a very complex product. Today, a lot of us still probably get insurance from the broker. If you're the company, you get the loan insurance, home insurance, you still talk to some agency. It's very hard. You want to go online, you want to purchase insurance product, all you get is hundreds of phone calls. It's still come by the broker. So the reason for me to join the Health in Tech, and this is an awesome platform, and put anything you need for the small business insurance products on that platform. And also, the platform is underwriter for insurance company, where through the third-party AI and internal machine learning algorithm, we can reduce the underwriting process from 12 to 14 days to about just 2 minutes. Bundle everything together, provide a very affordable, fast sales cycle, the solution for the small business. So this is really, to me, is a huge market for us to disrupt and to help with small business. A small business today is about 99.9% of the entire U.S. Employees. That is small business company, 99.9%, 45% of GDP. They are small other company, they are large company, but most of I think the backbone of the economy for the United States is small business. And it's a 4.5 trillion healthcare market with 2 trillion insurance with little innovation. So that is the reason drive to figure out what we can help the small business and disrupt the insurance market. That make me move from fintech into the insurtech business.
There's some big numbers there. The spreadsheets must be terrifying if somebody accidentally puts the wrong number in. Are you adopting AI now into your forecasting and modeling?
Honestly, no. So we use AI in other contexts. For instance, some of the research, some of concept market research, and we use AI. But the forecast, the modeling is very dynamic, and most of the data we already simplified from the system. And so we still need the business input judgment. AI today have not evolved in the way it can just replace the forecast modeling so simple. Hopefully one day AI will be able to produce that better result and we can use that.
Amen to that. I think there's a lot of marketing and finance people who would love most of that forecasted out for them. But the thing that gets me sometimes in the corporation is you can spend days on spreadsheets and PowerPoints for the big meeting. And then suddenly, right before the meeting, it all gets distilled into something really simple. And I don't know why it often happens. Your whole team have plugged everything, and then someone can just look at the pack and say, that's the small story. Have you got any funny moments where your whole pack was maybe derailed, but actually there was a better outcome?
Yes, I think often people are easily lost in the data and Excel spreadsheet and the presentation decks and pages. And I always say, what is the takeaway when you walk into the meeting? What is the top 3 message you want to deliver, right? You have to synergize the data to look at what the story for conversation, for discussion, because the idea have a presentation and look at data is for people to discuss about what does the data tell us, what direction we want to go. So the perfect example is our CEO and our executive teams, we often end up looking at the data and start to have one way or the other different discussion. But very importantly is what is the 2 or 3 topic you wanted to put on the table to say, hey, because of these are the data telling us, that's are the top 3 things we want to discuss. And then what is solution? It's very easy. People say that's a problem. So I always come and say, this is a problem. Do we have a solution? Do we have a game plan? Do we have 1 game plan, 2 game plan? Do we have a backup plan? What is the worst case? So on this worst case, do we have a solution for the worst case? If we don't, that's a problem, right? So it's really interesting to see how we can use the data and make that as trigger for a discussion. Eventually, we create a solution.
In a past life, the CFO, which is still for me a relatively newish title, it used to be called the finance director, the chief finance officer, used to be just the best accountant. Like many people, it was the best in their discipline became the top. But in today's world, the CFO has to be far more strategic, far more looking for deals and getting involved. How's strategy with you?
Yeah, I can break down the CFO in 4 functions. One is basic accounting function, is involved of just books and records. Those are the functions is historical. You look back what happened. And these functions mainly a lot of time replaced by the process, by the software, and less human involvement in last few decades, the evolution, the change, and the process with the ERP or Oracle, and able to do that. So that is part. The other is reporting. Once you have books and records, you have to make a report. for us and the health tech, we are trading in the NASDAQ as a public listing company. So you have to file the various different reporting quarterly and annually and go through, audit and the gap accounting, all these things. And it's a reporting part of component. And now that's just, to me, it's just the basic foundation. The other two big functions important. One is capital markets, investor relations. So the capital markets is really looking at how the company treats what is the market, looking at the trajectory of the future. And it's aligned with company development and the strategy. Do we need more capital? So what is capital allocation? So, for the manufacturer will be whether you want to open additional plant somewhere, what is the cost, what is the market, all these things. And this is the big function of the capital market investor relations. The other is, the strategic business analysis. The planning part is based on analyze the current landscape and the business and how will you plan for the next step. Will you adding on the different business on the ecosystem to do acquisition, or we think organic growth is right. Do we have the budget for everybody to keep everybody on track? All these things is a part of successful CFO's function. So not just write the number, make the reports.
If I've got a CFO that everybody calls CF No, kind of just the financial steward, how do we get them on the front line to become CF Grow?
So it has to be on the two part. One is no, the other is growth. That's the balance. And for me, I am the partner of the business. It's not about the no, it's what we can do, right? So why? When we say no, I don't like to say no. I want to have a solution. So if somebody comes to me, have a problem, and they have asked, then I will come with a solution and give people alternative way. Because often, whether it's the discipline of the budget, or the reason people say why say no is, every budgets come from the business. We look at what is bottom line and top line growth. We have to balance this out for. If there's somebody exceeding, obviously it's no. In order for you to spend more, you need adding on top line more. So it's really dynamically see what is objective we want to meet as collective, as an organization. They come with a plan, not just say simply yes or no.
I almost got triggered there for all the no's I've had. From wondering, how could I have done it better? Do you have people like me that are constantly just going, more, I need this, I need more, and the number of no's is becoming a disappointment for them?
That's great if you want more. And I would say how you measure what you want. Are you generating revenue on what investment you want to put? And do you have a KPI to measure that, right? So we have our company, we have a lot of idea. And as we can start a project, we're funding them. But we want to measure, we're able to pivot. And I always say, we through the measure, we have to move. We cannot just go down one road and then we can do a pivot quickly. If things does not work and not work according to our measurement, we have to change it, tweak it. It's a partnership buy-in. It is not just a yes or no. I think if you think about us, sometimes finance CFO almost like a referee, right? You have the people playing and the referee and what to say, hey, this is how the rules played. That's how you can be winner. Otherwise, you don't need the referee. So the player cannot be the referee at the same time. So you need the referee there and to be partner.
The referees have thick skin though.
Well, sometimes you have to, how to manage the uncomfortable discussion, right? So, there is the egos, there's people feel there a lot of things are uncomfortable. But I always take approach like, what do we want to solve? What is our common objective, right? So if we partner together, we can recognize what we can help the business to achieve common objective, and that's a win-win situation.
I like that. When I set out business objectives, they always come to me with a number. We want to go from 5 million to 15 million. Always, that's the objective. So I say, okay, what's the strategy? What are the tactics? But again, 100% of the times, just before we start the strategy, I say, what's broken? And so much is always broken. How do you balance up that what's broken within the business before the teams get the excitement of beginning the tactics?
I was saying there's always top 5 to top 10 stuff. There's a company we need to fix and the prioritization. And the 80% always applies. 80% of the big issues and whatever is the growth, the profitability come from the 20% of issues. So if we identify them and prioritize them and fix that, just like a foundation, you build a car, you have to do maintenance, make sure car can drive, can run, and then you add in other things, can run faster. So very super focused on the top issue, make that fix, and everything else will become easier. And that's a part of business because every business has a challenge and every business has its unique issues. Success is not easy. It's about focus, be efficient, and tackle on the big challenge first and prioritize them. We all have a limited time, the resource. So if we focus and get this done and done well and move one thing at a time, eventually you will see the improvement and the result.
Yeah, it's a stepwise progression. Here's a unique stat. 25% of US CFOs have worked in fast food restaurants like McDonald's or other chains. Yeah, there's far too many to mention. I started in a car wash, in a local bar, in a local convenience store, doing part-time jobs. You're a very global citizen. You worked in many countries and many miles apart. What was your first job? And is anything that it taught you stuck today?
My first job, I worked in Whirlpool and was the cost analyst for global procurement department. I got a job because I was halfway my CPA exam and I'm the one willing to travel. I love to travel. I say, hey, that's the best job. You got to travel, right? So before you know it, you got to travel to the different countries and different factories and everywhere. You just stay 1 or 2 days to stop and write the notes and then learn the business. At the time, they also produce the air conditioner, the washer, the refrigerator. So then you go anywhere, it's a factory setting and it's somewhere in the very rural area. You get an airport, then you take, in the ties, it's really no taxi. Somebody's going to pick you up, whatever the vehicle gets on. It's a long journey and then you stay 1 or 2 days, you jump to the other country, another factory. It's really, really hard. It's harder than what I thought, but again, the town's experience and the factory floor, talk to people, understand the production process and understand how the cost accounting is done. That tend to be a pretty awesome experience. It is really the foundation for me to really understand well how each process and the different factory setting.
I know in your job you've got to navigate domestic law, international law, developing a brilliant experience, but really having that curiosity to travel, adventure, and learn from the ground. That sounds like a recipe for success to me.
To be humble and always talk to people to learn. And the more knowledge you have, the more experience, the better decision you will make. And, you look at the data differently, you understand the business differently. And I would just say, it's great. It's awesome experience. It's some of the advice I would give to your audience, or if they young, they just started, and just keep learning.
That's great. I love the being humble thing. I've always been someone who can connect. I started work at 17, and so I was able to connect with almost like the tea lady and the MD. I've kept it that way. My family were engineers, working class to the main. What kind of jobs did your family do growing up?
If my mom worked in the factory, my father was engineer, able to work around and to see how they hardworking people with just average hardworking family and see the work ethic. I think it's important. And, it just a lot of skills come from where you see the time and effort they put in.
Definitely. The number one quality in a CFO isn't what most people expect. It's not just numbers, it's empathy, leadership, and people. That could surprise a lot of folks. What's your take on empathy as a CFO?
The empathy is able to understand how other people's view and the perspective. And empathy is to get a common ground when we have a conflict. And empathy also give people an opportunity to succeed, to change. Everybody are built differently, and it's important whether that individual give the opportunity to make the change for their life and make the change to contribute to the company. For our company, we are meritocracy based. We have a KPI for the employees, but also based on the skill set, we give the different role. If somebody, is not successful or fit in one particular position, we give them a different position to try. I think the empathy is try to see what fits people best to give the opportunity to continue to succeed in their career. And empathy is also relating to what they have to be mindful about their family. And very candidly, I do not believe work life have to balance. The work life is a harmony, and the work life is all together. We just have to be also mindful for the family of our employees, family of our team. I have team members and they work on their flexible time as long as they get the work done. So there's a particular person, she has to block in the morning hour to pick up the kids from the school, but she always works later on the day. Give the flexibility, understand their individual family situation is empathy. So I think all these things make us who we are as a culture of the company, also make us not just the business. We have a common purpose. So that's what I see that.
Julia, it's been wonderful having you in. You're such a great leader. You're so grounded and humble, which I love. Do you have one golden nugget for life?
Yeah, I would say I'm the one in the driver's seat. So you will be the one in the driver's seat for the life. And I wish all your audience, will be successful and then drive your life forward.
Audience, get in the driver's seat. Stop sitting in the back. Stop calling shotgun. Stay humble. Be grounded. For those tough referees out there like Julia and myself, you can help others change. Thank you for coming in again, Julia.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Join David and his incredible guests next time on the Success Nuggets podcast. And to find out more, visit onegoldennugget.com. Thank you for listening.